Hey everyone, it is Calf here. Today's February 12th, 2019. Was a pretty interesting day today. Was nearly a massive day for us today. I made one mistake that kind of ruined and spoiled things. I'm going to talk about what was successful for us and what was not successful for us. It was a green day overall, as you can see here. Ended up being up just $130. However, look how big we were up initially. Like I said, I made a mistake with this last trade. I just let this thing go. It is just a mistake, and we'll talk about what I did wrong here. But these were all winners. It happened within the first 30 minutes to 40 minutes of trading. Bang, 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 we're up $1,000 within 30 minutes. I was stoked. It was awesome. We were just firing on all cylinders. I'm going to review those trades with you guys. Okay, so this here is CHGG, and that's this trade right here, CHGG from 36.97 to 37.44. Ended up being about a $300 trade for us. So this was the watch list last night. Now, this watch list, we actually totally did not end up playing this trade plan. And I mentioned that in here. I'm basically saying, like, look, we want to watch this in pre-market tomorrow because this will likely all change, okay? And that was the case. I completely changed my trade plan from this. It was totally different. But still, having it on the watch list still prepared me to trade it. Even though I didn't take that official trade plan, I was still prepared with certain levels and comfortable levels and was familiar with it, what the earnings numbers were and all of that sort of thing, like how strong the earnings were. They beat EPS by about 25%. Revenues beat by a couple million. It was really strong play. So even though I didn't end up trading this plan, having the watch list the night before really helped me out. And of course, this watch list gets sent out to all members. So this was the actual trade plan here. Notice this, see this flag right here? Okay, that is the same flag as this here. I just zoomed in and changed the inside a little bit. Now, what we get so frequently with these earnings winners, we get some heavy profit taking right out of the gate here. That was the case with CHGG here. Look at this heavy profit taking all the way from 38.40 all the way down to the $36 level. I mean, that's a lot of range, okay, when the first opening bell. Well, I confidently dip bought this this spill out, and I'll explain why here. But my first buy was at 37.61. Yeah, it's a little higher. Obviously, in a perfect world, it would have been lower, right? But I was confidently and slowly averaging into my dip buy. My lowest add was 36.40. Look how close I was to near end. I almost added up here while we were still falling, but I kept telling the chat room, patient, patient, patient. Do not add yet. It's too early to add. We finally got this add down here, almost at low of day. And you'll see that it's really not a surprise that it decided to bounce here, because if you look at pre-market, this is where we start, or after hours yesterday, this is where we start to have a little bit of traction from after hours trading. We had to pull back here a little bit, and you can see that it didn't just totally gap up there. It actually pulled back a couple times and things like that here. So as you can see, it's no surprise that it started to find a bottom here as it did. It was in sync here with these candles from after hours the day before. So after those two averagings, my average on it was about 36.97, and I ended up selling this. The reason why, again, I bought this the way that I did was based on recent history. Okay, we know that earnings winners have sold off very heavily out of the gate. And we've also known that if we confidently dip buy that panic selling, then it ends up paying out for us. Now, it doesn't mean you just buy all panic selling no matter what, right? There's certain things that fit with this. I like the numbers with it. I like the chart overall, looking back in previous months and things like that. There's a lot of things that made me feel very confident about dip buying this. And I, of course, talked about that as I traded this live on the voice channel with everyone. That was also super awesome. I traded this live with everyone on the voice channel, and everyone profited from it with me. It was super awesome. So anyways, I ended up taking profit here at 37.44, which is actually under my first buy, but above my average. It ended up being about a $300 trade for me here, okay? Now, this ended up continuing, broke over 38, but however, this is extra, right? It's so easy to say, oh, I sold at 37.44. Oh, man, I wish I would have sold at 38. I wish I sold at 38.20. Do not get in the habit of saying that. There's certain market environments where you want to take your profits really quickly. We're currently in one of those markets where we want to get in, take profits quickly. We don't want to let these run for an extended period of time. I'm actually going to explain why here and on my loser in a little bit here. But anyways, awesome trade on CHGG. Loved it. Was textbook. Okay, next up, this is PYX. Okay, I traded PYX twice today. The first time I bought it, very similar. Earnings winner, almost identical pattern. Look at the panic selling here right out of the gate. I confidently did bought this, actually averaging twice on the initial panic selling. Okay, I bought that thing quick. This was, again, I traded this live on the voice channel. Everyone got in on this with me. This thing ends up hitting almost $25 later on. Okay, now I'll be the first to tell you, I did not hold for it to move to 25. Like I said, I'm taking profits quick, but I still made huge money on this, about $700 trading PYX alone today. It was awesome. Super stoked about how this all traded out. So anyways, with those two averages, or with those two buys, my average is 18.41, and I ended up taking profit on this at 19.36. So this trade happened within, seriously, the first 4 minutes, I think. 4, maybe 5 minutes, okay? It was awesome. I sold on this initial strength. Like I mentioned, this is a market we want to take profits very, very quickly on, and I did. Sold into strength at 1936. Okay, now watch what happens next. This is super important to watch what happens next. This is the exact same chart, PYX. I did what we call a rinse and repeat. What is a rinse and repeat? It means you basically do exactly what you just did on the next pullback. Okay, now one thing you'll notice, I only bought this with one buy. Okay, on my first trade, I did 2 average-ins. I was 600 shares total on the stock. This time I only bought back in with 300 shares. I re-entered on this pullback. This arrow says right there, but it was actually right here where I took profit, and the $19 take profit was over here. So I'm sorry that I put my arrows in the wrong place. But it was awesome. Bounced off this exact low of day. We call this a rinse and repeat. We love rinse and repeats. We've been doing rinse and repeats like crazy. All you do is just repeat basically the exact same trade plan. Take a little smaller sizing to protect your profits a little bit, and it's been huge for us. Just awesome for us. Stop loss on this would have been under $17.99. Now I only held it for 42 cents a share, and of course it continued another $6, right? You know, that left what, $5,000 on the table, or $4,000, something ridiculous like that. But I'm focusing on trading the first hour of each day, and it's been really profitable for us. Okay, now this was the one that went against me. I had another trade, RNG. I'm not going to talk about it though, because I was breaking it down, and there's just not a ton that I want to get out of that trade. But it was a winning trade for us. Took a $100 trade off that. Netflix, this is what cost me almost all my profits today. Okay, notice the early morning, we call this a rollover. Notice this early morning rollover pattern. We have seen rollover patterns happen time and time and time again in recent markets. So I was very confident about shorting as soon as we had officially a lower low than the previous high. Okay, so you'll see here, this is hive day, then hive day, hive day, hive day. And then finally we get a couple candles that fall under the previous hive day, which is this group. So as it started to pull down and as it fell under 350, I thought, perfect, this is going to be our trend line break. You'll notice there's kind of this trend line here. It's gonna be our trend line break. It's rolling over. Everything about this looks perfect. I'm gonna go ahead and take the short. Well, literally 2 minutes later, look what happened. We get this big spike. So what's the problem here? What did I do wrong? It's okay that I'm wrong on a trade. Yeah, I thought this was gonna roll over, didn't roll over. That's not the problem here. The problem is that I let this kill me, and I didn't close out of the short till the end. Ended up losing $900 on the short. I was in 100 shares, okay? Ended up losing $900 on the short, gave almost the entirety of my profits away. How dumb is that? So silly, right? Had a $1,000 day within 20 minutes, and then over the next 6 hours, I lose all of it almost. Okay, I should have had my stop over this hive day. If not this hive day, at least over the 352 area. Sometimes I like to give it $1 of room over breakout levels like this hive day in case it's a fake out. There's really no excuse that I let this do what it did though. Just no excuse. No excuse. It's really important that you keep those stops in and you manage it carefully. Because what I was saying, oh, I'm up $1,000 a day. I can take a little bit bigger risk. I can take a little bit bigger risk. We cannot think that. We cannot say that. Okay, it's so silly. You have to take your stop outs, take your stop losses, and move on. Okay. Real quick, I want to talk about get a free quote from calftax.com. We'll do your taxes for you. Our CPA is amazing, and he'll do them for cheaper than you've ever gotten them done before. And he's going to get you a bigger refund than you've ever gotten done before. Seriously, I'm so confident about that. Get a free quote from him. Seriously, no obligation. Just get a free quote. You won't regret it. And that sums us up. So hopefully this is helpful. I can't wait to trade again with all the members in the chat room tomorrow.